Okay, so I'm playing golf and I hit a 0.05 kilogram golf ball downward at an angle of 25 degrees with a velocity of 95 meters per second. Now, I know I'm not very good at golf, so I end up hitting a window. And this changes the angle to a completely horizontal velocity of 15 meters per second. This whole collision takes 0.004 seconds. Now, I'm looking for the F net. And I know that the F net equals the change in the momentum over the change in the time. And I also know that the change in momentum equals the final momentum minus the initial momentum. Also, I know that momentum equals the mass times the velocity. Now, I see here that this angle has an x and a y component, so I know that the momentum is going to have an x and a y component. So let's just break it down into components. I know that P1, which is this initial momentum, for x is going to equal the mass, 0.05 kilograms, times the velocity, which is 95, times the sine, times the cosine of 25 degrees to give this x component, and that's going to equal 4.30 kilogram meters per second x hat. Now let's deal with the y. I know that 0.05 kilograms times 95, and it's going to be negative because it's going downward, so negative 95 meters per second times sine of 25 is going to equal negative 2.01 kilogram meters per second y hat. Now, let's deal with P2. I know that there's no y component, there's only an x component, so I know that the mass, which is 0.05 kilograms times this velocity, 15 meters per second, equals 0.75 kilogram meters per second x hat. Now, I know from here that the change in momentum is the final momentum minus the initial. So I have all this information that I need. So I know that P2x minus P1x plus P1y will give us that change in momentum. So we just plug in the numbers and we end up with 0.75 kilogram meters per second minus P1x, which is 4.30 kilogram meters per second x hat, minus negative for the y, minus negative 2.01, which is just ends up equaling plus 2.01 kilogram meters per second. Now, I can just go ahead and combine these two x hats, and I end up with negative 3.55 kilogram meters per second x hat plus 2.01 kilogram meters per second y hat. Now, I know that this is the change in momentum, so we know that to find F net, we just found the change in momentum. We know that I have to divide this by this time that we have. So we're just going to go ahead and put this over the x and the y components over this time, and we'll end up with a force. So we end up with negative 3.55 kilogram meters per second x hat plus 2.01 kilogram meters per second y hat over 0.004 seconds. We end up with a force of negative 887 newtons x hat plus 502.5 newtons y hat. And we know that just looking at the units, that these seconds will cancel out, leaving kilogram meters, which is the same thing as newtons. So we know that we did find the force here, and we can just look at it and we know that x is slowing down on this. The momentum is going to be less here, so we know it's going to end up with a negative momentum, and also the y is going to be positive due to the fact that it's changed. It's gone from going down to going horizontal, so the y is going to be positive.